it's like pulling teeth, isn't it? Really. I mean, if you had teeth, and so you'd have to have teeth to pull in the first place. It looks like a doctor's waiting room. Is that are you next with the doctor?
I'm having my gallbladder removed.
Oh, I say, you look like you're in the doctor's surgery when you say, are you next? Anyway, am I in the right place now?
You are. Nice stripy shirt, Francis. As a fan of stripy shirts, loving yours.
I do love a stripy shirt. I buy all these shirts in Germany. They're a limp, they're called, and I've got shitloads of them. Myself and Andrew Bound I must have at least 60 shirts I haven't opened yet.
Well, welcome to our guest, Francis Rossi, esteemed frontman of Status Quo, and a kind of national treasure, even, I think you could be called, actually, Francis. You might not like that description, but you might like it. I mean,
that esteemed or esteeped?
Esteemed. Clearly esteemed.
Esteemed,
in this current weather, probably steamed. But
so
welcome to Two Big Egos in a Small Car, Francis, and lovely to chat to you today. We're previewing the show Songbook, Quo, Past, Present, Future. 2 dates to mention across Yorkshire. There probably are more, but October the 4th, 2026, Royal Hall, Harrogate, and also Hull City Hall on October the 8th. And there may well be other Yorkshire performances as well.
I had a great show at Hull City Hall last time. I never expected it. And it was one of those that stuck when you get certain dates that go, wow, that was the one. You know, it was rather... Perhaps sometimes it's because you don't expect them. That's one of those things about life in general, isn't it? You have great expectations of something. It's got a lot to live up to. Whereas we just didn't think it was going to go. That is big boomy room. Wasn't sure about the turnout, and we had to rent a PA system in to match the room, which was. Sorry, you just said it, so it went through my mind. So it comes out of my mouth.
Yeah. And you've played, of course. I think you played Harrogate Theatre before, of course.
Oh yeah.
And I think probably the Conference Centre as well. Actually, you'd have played.
Yeah, that was one of the deadest places in the world. That and Southport. Southport is a venue in Southport where it's just one of those rooms that soaks up any sound. So therefore, not only soaks up the band when you're playing, but it soaks up any audio. You can see hands going, but it's just like Rick used to say, it sounds like rain on a roof sometimes. It's like really off-putting.
So you won't be going back to the Harrogate Conference Centre then, that's for sure.
Well, I don't mind. Playing it in this mode would be different, I think. And
it would. But on the other hand, the Royal Hall in Harrogate is a truly beautiful venue.
Then I'll enjoy that. There's one we played.
Had an amazing renovation job that was done there. It's utterly beautiful and
also
perfect for performance.
The Royal Hall has hosted the Beatles, the Kinks in the 1960s, and the Who.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, we might have been there in the 1960s. No need to pick, is there? You know, man.
So, Francis, Songbook, there was the 2025 tour.
Yeah.
And I guess, look, the logic is that goes well. Let's look at a way of freshening it up further, add a bit more to the title, Quo, Past, Present. And here's the key, Future.
The titles are nothing to do with it. Steve Homer is the promoter and a friend of mine for a long time. The other one, I would stand at the side of the stage and it'd be if I see a songbook and more. And I just think, what the fuck more? What more? There's me and some songs. There is no more. And with this one as well, I think it's a great sounding title.
Yes.
Past, present, and future. But I'm doing promo currently, and I keep thinking about that. Well, what do you mean the future? How can I play the future? We were always in the present for one, if you're taking it that way.
Well, the ironic title of the name Status Quo, of course, means that nothing changes. And yet
exactly. I never realised that.
Telling you, Francis, you've got a future, so you better start writing it now.
It is a worry. I do like to think I have a future, but I'm now 77 and I think of death most of the time. Somebody asked me that yesterday, and I said, well, yeah, I do. It's always, I say something and then realise that I may not make the rest of the week. It may get to tomorrow morning, you say, he only said that yesterday and he's dead now. And I find all those things happening.
Over the years, you've done an exercise regime that keeps you trim. Keeps you trim and fit. And I'm assuming you're still doing that.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and I've actually adopted the chair routines. I stopped going to the gym really probably round about the time of lockdown. I took 2 years out and I got very lazy. And then I realised I was going back to work, and I have a gym at home, and I went into it, and I overdid chin-ups, and I messed something in my arm, a frozen arm for a while, and then I had a cortisone jab to do it, and still pushing. And I popped a bicep. So it's a unicep now. This one's a bicep. This one's a unicep. It's
you
true.
don't want triceps.
No, and God, this dog stinks. Oh, no, she does. She's not very well. And so I try and work out as often as possible. As I'm in the studio at the moment, I like to start by about 10:30ish, 10ish in the morning.
Yeah.
And so I do the crunches in the morning, which they say you don't need to do at this age, but I'm doing them. And then I work. I do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where I do a much fuller workout, where I'm not in the studio those days. And it's one of those things. It doesn't necessarily. I don't know if it keeps me fit or fitter than I would be, but it's one of those things that I get very grumpy if I don't stick to something I said I'm going to do.
Yeah,
and as with status quo, I suppose. Yeah. Or whatever it is. And you asked me about the update of this tour and such. It isn't. I just go, are we going out next year? We're already booking. We're out next year, and then we're out in Europe next year, and I shall possibly look into 28. But I have to live that long first. And see, no, I'm aware as well that as you get older, the voice changes. It's going to start doing that before long.
Clive Dunn. Sounds like Clive Dunn.
Well, it's that ilk. I've always taken the piss out of that thing. And I sat in the audience, and I used to have this whole gardener, Dusty Miller, who's a delightful man, an ex-policeman. And it's just so like that because of his teeth. And a lot of that
they say with voices, Francis. They say that your voice goes down, deeper and down. You see,
but go away, will you? And it's that whole thing of the voice. So I can feel my voice is starting to get slightly huskier in the thing now. You see, so I will see how it fares. This on this tour is coming up in. When do I go? September.
So, yeah.
I've got some vocals to do in the studio. I shall find out about that, but we'll see.
Yeah. Weren't you in Europe just in May time this year?
Yeah, we got home on May the something.
Yeah, and you're up on tour of Britain's like 30 days. Then you've got a new tour in March, which is 31 dates.
Yeah.
You're probably as busy as Status Quo ever were.
Well, ish, but we were a lot busier than people thought. The people used to say, oh, you're such a hard-working band. And I used to think, well, you mean, or greedy. It depends how you look at it. And I think that's a valid point with all acts. But I subsequently realised that I really do enjoy it. And it's that raison d'etre. I don't know what the fuck else to do. I'm making an album again at the moment. I've got another one I want to do for as soon as that one's finished. But I have to be careful that I forget that I am 77. I joke about being 51. And there's a guy yesterday I spoke, he said, well, I'm 50. And I thought, wow, I said, baby. He said, well, I'm not really. I said, well, when I was 27, you weren't here. And then, and it's peculiar because the way the life is and the ages, you think, well, I was 27, he wasn't here. But now he sounds much closer to me because he's 50. Particularly to young people. So I find all that is in my mind most of the time. So hence the worry about getting older.
Once you've hit 50, you've joined a new club.
Well, yeah, it's a cousin of mine who had birthday same day and always calls me up on his birthday and then he really said, 60, fuck, we're 60, yeah. And he called me back 2 days later. He said, no, it's not a problem. He said, it's a friend of mine told me it's when you hit 63. And there was something about hitting 63 and there has been something about hitting 77. It's the sequence of sevens through one's life. And something has definitely happened, but I will fight against it. Dickhead.
Tell us about to go back in the past a bit. The first time I heard "Rocking All Over the World," which is way better than John Fogerty's original version, was at the on the John Peel show in September 1977, and Peely loved it, and I immediately, although I wasn't at the time a massive Status Quo fan, I thought, "Oh my good God, this is a brilliant track." And then when I watched Live Aid live on TV from the beginning, which was not expected to be that good because there hadn't been an event like that for a long time. The 80s are a bit more cynical and poppy, so there wasn't huge expectations. Then you came on with Status Quo and you're rocking all over the world. And I knew instantaneously this is going to be a great day. And that was just what Status Quo managed to do with one number.
Well, yeah, I agree it's better than the Fogerty's thing, and I'm not ashamed of saying that because he had a really piddly version, and he won't mind me saying that either. Tough if he does, really. And it's been released but various people have tried it. So what we did, I don't know, but we lost more fans on that record and that album. Although we gained a lot, we lost a lot. So I found that very interesting with Showbiz. And same thing happened within the Army. Same thing happened with Burning Bridges and Margarita and various other songs. And I think Alan Lancaster always wanted us to I never understand that kind of when we were kids, they were very poppy. He was very Del Shannon and we both liked all that kind of stuff.
Runaway.
Yeah, don't. Fantastic.
It's a brilliant track. Runaway is so good.
Yeah, very good. Still very good. And but there was that thing that after Matchstick Men, pop became a bad word. You know, people used to spit and say pop, and I thought, well, I kind of went along with that for some years, like I did with the shit in the when I first went to secondary school, trying to be like it's sort of like and then I realised, no, I love pop music. I always have loved pop music, but I like blues music. I like rock music. I like various sorts of music. And I think I would probably find something I would like in most genres of music. Maybe not rap. Oh, no, rap's quite good. What was his? Many both their lives in a little band in Paris. He took a good song, didn't he, there?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
it was an excellent record. The first time I thought it's an old rap song, but it definitely had rhythm and poetry to it. Yeah, it was good. But I used to find it very frustrating that we have this thing about what we think is cool music, and we're all convinced the music we like is good. And I find that very fascinating. That no, it's just what you fucking like. Yeah. See, I swear in a northern accent, it's far less offensive, I think.
Francis, tell us about working with Andy Brooke, because obviously Andy joined you for Songbook last year. He co-produced the Accidental album and is going to be touring with you again on guitar. Is he working with you on the new album as well?
Yes, he's not here, so he was here yesterday. I'm doing some lyrics as well this afternoon with Haran, who was also... These two guys went to school together with one of my sons, and I've known them both since they were very young. And an engineer I used to have, Greg Jackman, I wanted to get out or whatever, and it was Haran said, well, why don't you try Andy Brooke? He's a good engineer. And I said, well, I like Andy. And he came to work, and I get on extremely well with him. And mainly when I find the kind of clincher was whenever I've done guitar solos over the year, not particularly good guitar player. So you would end up with a producer that was a guitar player. Two or three of those have been guitar players, and sometimes the engineer. So when you're playing a guitar and the level they have the solos at, you're aware that they don't think they're very good. And whilst you're doing it, you can feel them trying to bend the note for you. Can you do this with it? And I'd do that. Andy Brooke, as soon as I started work with him, I felt he didn't do that. It was extremely... And his mind is so focused. Sometimes we were doing something yesterday, and I was dropping in somewhere, and I said, look, you know where you are. You always do this to me. You know where you are. As my mind's in your mind. And he said, well, it is normally. Said, yeah, that's true. And we discussed it this morning. But he's so on the money. And I don't want that. I don't want you saying there's that my nose you can smell. You get that joke, do you? Never mind. And but he's one of the best people I've ever worked with, because he's so in tune with what I want and say and do. Which is why I said in the end he should get a credit as co-producer, because I would run things past him and say, what do you think? And don't always go with it, but he's one of those people I respect. So I bounce what I feel off it. I might be leaning to the way he's going to suggest, and then I might not. But most people, if you ask them their advice, they'll suggest something and be upset that you didn't take it. Rather, I see it as it helps me make up my mind. And we enjoy doing the accidental so fucking much, just so much. I'm over the top about that album still, and we finished it last year sometime. And normally I'm over a product by then. But no, and I want to make another one. But we are doing a Rossi Ricard album at the moment, which I'm writing some with Hannah, some with Mr. Brook, and some with Hiran. We need to step up our lyrical content because the lyrics on Accidental I thought were particularly good. Or for me, they were anyhow. And, as a history and status quo, blah, blah, blah. And so I find working with Andy Brook quite special. And I love what he does. We are both, and I've probably grown into this. He said the attention to detail. He likes that in me and I like that in him. And as much as some people say, my generation say, oh, no, I prefer working on multi-track. It's a great, it's like net zero. It's a great term. You go, oh, it sounds good, yeah. But if you try editing on multi-track, it's a fucking nightmare. How Jeff Lynne ever got on in the old days, it's a nightmare. Whereas you can sit and literally look at the screen and say, well, look, can you just move toes? Just move, put them there for a minute. No, put it back. No. Oh, I like that. One of the reasons we came up with the accidental, we do something. I say, oh, what did you do there? And it's gone out of whack. It's got, out of sync. Oh, I like that. Or it'd be something I'll keep repeating it. Oh, I like that. Put that there. So we kept saying, oh, happy accident. There was a lucky one. That went well. And there's probably the most enjoyable project I've ever had in my life. Perhaps it's because I saw my own way, probably. But I really enjoy working with Andy Brook. That's enough of that now, because I don't want anybody saying they can smell my nose.
Grant.
Well, Status Quo have sold 118 million records worldwide, which equates to about 50 billion streams, because it's not quite the same world, the digital world. And you're still touring incessantly, Francis, as is Dylan and McCartney, Deep Purple, The Who, the Stones are still thinking about touring again. What is it about 60s and 70s legends that you just don't retire? Why do you keep on going?
Insecure little show-offs, I think. I do, genuinely. People think it's because I mock things and make jokes a lot, but that's genuine, I feel. I just... for years, the idea of going, I don't generally go anywhere, any showbiz functions and stuff. We got an award once and I couldn't go and pick it up, and Tommy Cooper went and Rick and all that went and picked it up. I can't, but there is something about being in front of an audience. I think if I'd been going out to the audiences where in the theatres and the little theatres we've been in the last 3 or 4 years, it would be a terrible, sad thing that Status Quo. And it was even one or two guys, we had a Q&A, and a guy said to me, so what's it like? I said, what's what like? I haven't come down to this. I said, no, don't fucking have to do this. I want you to do this. It's almost like me trying to give a positive to the negative of the insecure show-off. No, I need this. Yeah. I need, what's the matter, Doug? What's the matter? She's frightened. She's getting old and dying. And I believe that's what I saw the Stones on a thing the other night, and that's the best I'd ever seen them. It must have been tidied up somewhat. It was a Glastonbury affair. Sorry, I don't like that word, Glastonbury. And it's only because he doesn't like me. It's okay. But I noticed the other day, Ian Gillan's going out doing a chat show. It's just like,
yes,
it's going to sit out and sit and talk. Well, because we share the same agent and they have done for years. And so I dare say our agent said to him, well, if he can do it, surely you can. And I've known those guys such a long time. The first gig we did as Status Quo was at the Welcome Inn in Eltham, and we supported episode 6, and Roger Glover and him were in episode 6.
Yes.
Good-looking bloke, and he's a gobshite. He is. I saw the picture of his promo picture. I thought, he's a good-looking bloke. I mean, he looked a lot better in his picture than he does live.
Oh, that's the truth.
No, he's a good-looking bloke and a nice fellow. And good luck to him. That's what I think it is. We are insecure little shafts and we need it dreadfully.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what? I just become some old man. And this validates my being alive, I suppose. I'm still struggling as that fellow, trying to prove something, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're playing great old traditional venues like Leeds Grand, Rillington Spa, but these are the venues that the biggest bands on the planet would have played back in the 1960s.
Oh yeah, we all did. Yes,
early 70s.
We all did. The one I didn't like the Leeds Variety. I love playing the stage and being in there because Rick did it when he was 15 with the highlights. And but the last time I was there, I was so put off by the dressing rooms, and I just thought, well, I'm not coming back. Seriously, I think they could tidy their dressing rooms up. I'm not trying to say that.
I'll have a word. I'll have a word with my good friend Ian Syme, who runs the City.
Yeah, you should. You should do it. The dressing rooms are somewhat of a disgrace, and very uncomfortable. And but we played Bridlington many times. Played that.
Great
yes, it's improved. I like most of those theatres. I'm getting back to being in front of people where you can hear them shuffling about. I can hear that guy over there talking to his wife in the second half because he's had a little too much to drink and he's speaking a bit louder now, kind of. Or you may have some negative response in the gig, whereas in the rock and roll gigs, you don't hear them and you can tell them fuck off anyway. Whereas in this one has to be a little careful. And I find it challenging, if you like, and enjoyable. And I wouldn't keep doing it unless I really enjoyed it. It's just I'm very worried. In 3 years' time, I'll be 80 if I make that. I mean...
The other element to it, Francis, of course, is the chance to, as it puts it here, the bonus of commentary and insight from you. And I mean, Graham and I both interviewed you through the years in our newspaper capacity as well as the podcast. And I know the storytelling side of the shows are as important to you as the songs. And that's actually the other thing about playing venues of this size, is that you couldn't really do that in a 15,000 seater. I mean, I know comedians have a go at doing that, but comedy doesn't really suit that. But the more intimate venues suit the opportunity to tell stories about songs, tell stories about your career, etc., and just reflect on life.
But I think that's what done it with me. I had that book, which they say I wrote, but it was Mick Wall. And there's a promoter wanted just to go out and sit and talk. I can do that, you know. I've always been able to do it with Quo, although I'm aware that Alan Lancaster used to get very, very embarrassed. And Rick always wanted to say, well, I want a share of that. So we became the friction, one of the fractious things between us. Yeah. And even more recently with the current band, I was aware one night that Andrew and John were feeling uncomfortable because I was perhaps going on too long. And perhaps in a rock and roll sense, people are going, get over it. And I just keep saying, well, this is it. Tough shit if you don't like it. And the older I've gotten, the more I kind of feel that way. And I got very settled. And then realising that although I drift at tangents and such, people don't necessarily mind. So I've learned something, and I don't want to go into it too much because my ego will take over again. And it's always been a fear of mine. And again, I learned that being in the band, that certain people's egos were taking over or took over. And it's very easy to do. I'm not being critical, just observance that it's very, very easy to do that. And so many of us in show business, it's happened to because we believe our PR. And most of the nights people are going, you're fucking marvellous. Well, I know I'm not, kind of. Or, you know, I balance it as best I can because on the one hand, you don't want to sort of put yourself down that much that you go out there thinking, well, I can't do this. I'm a dickhead. And I do believe I'm a dickhead. But there's a side of me that thinks, well, they like it. And I love being in front of them. But goes back to the insecure show-off. He really is insecure. Sad, but true.
Right.
It's true.
I recently tried to grow my hair long for the first time in years.
So did I.
It looked terrible. It looked absolutely terrible. But you had such beautiful long hair in the 1970s. Do you miss your 1970s hair?
In some ways, yes. But if I put it like you go, fuck, it looks silly for whatever reasons. Whether it's just because it's out of sync now because it's a different age. And mind you, I think I've seen Andy Brooks got long hair and he's trying to hang on to it. And I wouldn't mind a little more, I think. What the fuck is that? I'm going to kill her. You're going to have that. I just talked to this dog. You're going to get that fly or not? She's dead. Nancy, you're going to get the fly. There's a fly. No, thanks. But part of me goes, yeah, to a degree. And recently, in the last couple of years, you can this guy's suddenly going, I'm 90% bloody head. And this transplant piece, they told me it would grow forever. Is look, what's this? This isn't hair. Hang on a minute, I've got to put it back now. I'm on telly. I've just sorry. This dog, she's ill, you see, I think old and aging. So whatever she eats, she can smell coming through her skin. So there's definitely something wrong with her. She's not digesting. She's become deaf, pretty much blind, but she likes to chase a fly.
Does she have a favourite song of yours?
I do the shit jokes, all right. She will sit down if I start playing guitar. And it's only very recently that she won't leave my side or sits by my feet or sits with Eileen in part of the house. And she never did that before. She had a sister who died recently. And but God, she stinks. You can love a dog, but only so much.
Graham.
She's
Have
lovely.
you ever written any songs about dogs, Francis?
Yeah, I wrote one with Bernard Frost once. And it started out with Elizabeth, my first daughter, her mother. She had this dog, Billy. And it was sort of nursery rhyming. I can't remember what we turned it into, but it ended up, it'll make my day. It'll make my day to share with you, to hear from you. And I'm not sure if we actually used the term Billy, but when we were writing the song on the two acoustics, it was all about Billy. This funny little Yorkshire Terrier. Snappy little bastard he was.
Oh, yeah, terriers.
No, that's Yorkshireman for you.
And Scotsman.
All right, let's not fight. Please, children. You stink, Nancy. Nancy, can you go someplace else?
But you also had the album Dog of Two Head.
That sounded like you said Beyonce, the dog of two head.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. I'd get in trouble. Oh.
Yeah, you would. But I doesn't matter. I used to love Beyonce. I now see her as beyond it. But there we are. I'm sure she's great.
Did you ever make a country album then, just like she's just done?
Well, the Rossi Ricard album was considered a country album. And we're trying to do one again, but both become aware, as I was when I heard hers, becomes ultimately cliched and when you're in Europe, you sound like a pretender because you need to. My daddy was my daddy, my mom is my daddy, Shag and my daddy. You need that real country background, like Emmylou Harris and such. And have the names. I love Emmylou Harris and Dolly and all that. And if you go to America with it, you're wasting your fucking time. Because you just sound like a pretender, and I thought we'd made quite a good album. Because when I met Hannah, she was working with us on the acousticy thing we did, and we were at Hammersmith, and I'd been to her dressing room to speak to the girls about something, and I got back downstairs, and it was a long way down the fucking stairs. And she'd asked me when I was upstairs, do you still write songs? I thought, cheeky cow. What do you mean? And this was a long time ago, you know. I thought, of course I fucking do. And then I realised, I think, perhaps she was trying to broach the idea. So I texted her and said, did you mean you would like to write songs together? And she said, yes. So that was, and that very night she came downstairs dressed, and I watched them as they walked on before me, and she looked like the ultimate country singer. And she does have a fantastic voice that leans and has that tone, which is funny for a Geordie lass. And but we actually said we would try another album, which we're doing, and it's going to lean slightly more rocky than country. We'll have some country-ish to it, because country and rock and blues, similar sequences.
Yeah.
They're all sort of love songs, love done me wrong songs, kind of, you know. Oh, fuck it, don't. There it goes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hydrogen and related water is very, very good for it. It's very, very good for it.
Very good. Myself and Charles visited Hank Williams' grave outside Montgomery, Alabama, a long time ago. But we couldn't find it, so I had to walk into the Montgomery police station to ask them how to get to Hank Williams' grave.
And is there a joke coming here? I thought there's a joke coming here any moment.
I don't do jokes. I leave that up to Charles.
I did an album sometime with, I handed it over to somebody, I shouldn't, but there was this song called The King of the Doghouse, and it was after the Hank Williams thing, where Hank Williams apparently was really dominated by, well, you know, a rolling pin and all that stuff. He got home late. He was put in the doghouse, literally in the kennel. Outside that king of the doghouse again. You got to try and sing like that. My daddy said, you know what I'm saying?
He was a great songwriter, though. Great songwriter.
Yeah, really great, simple songs. That's the point, I think, when I was growing up. So much pop. Was
that kind of thing would be an influence? I mean, one of the things we think about is the economy of chords that you have used and how powerful that has been throughout, actually, as a tool of music. I mean,
the thing is,
it's one of the great strengths of you.
Yes, but lots of the singles were 3 chords, but there were others that were far more involved. But I hate to try and validate that, because it is like I'm making an excuse. There is nothing wrong with a 3 chord. Da 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 da. The Tchaikovsky's Concerto Number 1. The main section of that is 3 chords, and the same with La Donna Immobile is 3 chords, and various. But see, I'm trying to make excuses for it. I find it odd that
it doesn't need excuses, does it?
No, I find it odd that I was being interviewed quite a long time ago now. There was a woman in The Guardian, and she said something about 3 chords, and she says, and I said to her, do you know what it takes to change a chord? Blah, blah, blah. She said, well, I don't know what I'm talking about, do I? I said, no, you don't. And she didn't. I said, but it's the point being is that with status quo, you know who we are then. So there was always that view, but sometimes I find it hurts. So it's more of an annoyance. 3 chords, eh? Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, but also you don't make a better song you don't make a better song by adding more chords. That's just
you don't. My very point. In fact, I suppose you can actually make them put a 7 into it, and so but you're changing one finger, and there are people out there going, "Oh, if only they had one more chord, I'd have bought that record." I would love that song, but I'm pretty much aware there are lots of serious musicians, and I mean they are serious musicians that are a little bit up themselves in that respect. That they will, no, I couldn't. It's just not music. The engineer I mentioned earlier that I used to work with, he was a very highly revered engineer, and we were working here one day, and somebody came up and he said, I used to be a terrible musical snob. I said, you still fucking are, as far as I'm concerned. But it was one of those, he realised he'd been working with the status quo and myself, and then, well, hang on a minute, it's a bit pointless me being, so perhaps he felt like it was, he progressed by digressing, as it were, and regressing. And, but there is an element out there that, my brother's another one, he's got that, oh no, it's got to be, and it goes back to that image of music, that classical music, for argument's sake.
Mm.
You've been listening to the podcast Two Big Egos in a Small Car. Your hosts were Graham Chalmers and Charles Hutchinson. This was a Baltic sub-production.